Hey folks, welcome to Verified Investing. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. So as we get into things here, I want to talk about the S&P 500. What is today's price action after the Moderna news on the vaccine? Last Monday, we had Pfizer news on the vaccine. So there's been a lot of good news, but the question is the market using that news to power higher, or are the institutions selling into that action? And we're going to discuss that here in a minute. This is the intraday 10-minute chart. Then we'll look at the daily chart. Before I do that, just a reminder, folks, follow me on Twitter at Gareth Soloway. And if you're interested in my services, I have an options service as well as a stock investing swing trading service. The stock investing swing trading service is called Verified Investing. If you go to InTheMoneyStocks.com, that's InTheMoneyStocks.com, you'll see my name, and the drop down shows my two services under my name. All right. And just a reminder, so far this year, we have 188 closed out swing trades in Verified Investing for a 1,683% net gain. Pretty awesome. All right, so what the heck is going on here? Because easily you could see that the markets on an intraday basis rallied up initially and then started to sell off, and we've actually come back basically to the lows of the day. Now, the S&P is still green. The tech sector is also up slightly on the day, although less because COVID plays are selling off, which are mainly tech stocks. But again, this is not the price action you should be seeing if this market is overly jubilant about these vaccines, right? And obviously it's good news for the US, good news for the world that we're finally getting to a point where we have vaccines, but the price action is not telling you the market's going higher, and let me explain. All right. The easy answer here is to look at the price action here. We went up to this high pivot and we came back in and we're trading just off the lows of the day. Yes, we're net positive on the day, still up about 0.6%, but this is what concerns me. All right, this is good news, right? Last Monday, this was your gap up and reversal day on the Pfizer news. Today, we got better news on a vaccine, and the efficacy rate on this one is even better. Plus, it's the second vaccine. In theory, it should be pushing this market to new all-time highs. We should be taking out last Monday's highs. We are not seeing that, folks, and that is not good. All right? This was a massive reversal right here, and today's vaccine news, you're not even getting close to the highs from last Monday, and sellers are already emerging. So what this tells me, folks, is that big money is selling into small money buying. That's what happened last Monday. Small money was buying here on the gap up, and big money just unloaded a crap ton. If big money is unloading, there is an issue here, folks. You might say, well, what issue? Well, maybe the big stocks know that once we get past COVID and stimulus stops, maybe their business models don't look as good as they potentially are saying at this point in time. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Could it be that there's going to be more tension? I was reading that Trump is looking to play really hardball in his last month and a half, 2 months in the White House with China to cement his legacy on being hard with China. Could that be an issue there for the end of the year with China? We will find out. But these type of things are, again, a concern that big money is obviously telling us should be paid attention to. All right? And just to refresh yourselves, this trend line, if you're just looking at technicals, look at this trend line. This was your pivot high. If you start there, this was just before the end of 2018 collapse when the Fed threatened to raise interest rates and the market threw a hissy fit. And then we rallied all the way up here. This is where COVID started to freak out the markets, and we hit that level, and look at that correction. And then the latest correction off that level was right here. And then basically last Monday, we opened there again, and the markets obviously sold off. Now, we're still pretty close to that level, but look at this inside bar action. When you have this wide of a range of a candle with this heavy volume, and then you have inside bar, that's known as an in spirit of bearish pattern, an inside bar bear flag, if you will. That is something that's concerning. The only way this market gets a second lease on life, according to the charts, meaning that it could break significantly higher, is if you get a daily close or even confirmation above this pivot high. You got to establish yourself and negate this big wide range candle to the downside. If you close a day above that, that's a start, and then look for confirmation. All right, but again, what's crazy about it is that any inside bar trading here is not necessarily a good thing because it's actually creating a bearish pattern. And we all know what that means. A bearish pattern could likely mean further selling in the next couple weeks or months in this market. So keep an eye on that, folks. Again, that is a big deal when it comes to the S&P 500. And really every investor needs to be paying attention to that. Now, what's even more concerning is the tech sector. All right, the NASDAQ 100, classic inside bar bearish flag here. Same thing as the spiders, although weaker because it's not going as vertical, so that tells you that there's more selling. In addition, look at how weak this is. I mean, we've had great news last Monday and this Monday, and last Monday, this market only got to this pivot high, didn't even get back to the all-time highs. That's very, very bearish, folks. And then today, we didn't even come close to the yesterday, or I should say last Monday's high pivot when we're forming this bearish pattern. My estimation is the tech sector is going to remain the weakest of all of them, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of COVID plays are tech stocks. Amazon, for instance, is referred to as a tech stock. You have to remember that because of the pandemic, a lot of people have been ordering on Amazon versus going out and running out to the store, and that, again, is going to be taken away. In addition, regulation, folks. Anyone who doesn't think regulation's coming for these big tech players is, in my opinion, being silly. It's a bipartisan issue. It is coming. Facebook's going to get regulated. Amazon's going to get regulated. Google's going to get regulated. Whether Apple and Microsoft get grouped in there, we'll see. But I do think that there's even more risk of monopolistic lawsuits by the next administration as well, and that could put some pressure on these tech stocks. So I think smart money is smartly unloading up here. I don't think the small investor has quite gotten the signal. As last week, by the way, we saw the biggest inflows in, I don't even remember, it was almost ever, into the market last week, folks. So that tells you that's very important, because what that tells you is the market opened up. And again, this is something I haven't really talked about, but we saw the largest inflows, might have been ever, last week into funds. All right. And the fact is, last Monday, we opened here and we ended the week right here. So we were net negative for the week. The only way you get the largest inflow of money into the market from retail investors and the market doesn't go up is if you have big institutional sellers. So my point is to be careful here, be alert, keep your eyes and ears open, but it would not shock me if that's telling us something and we're going to look back and say, yep, remember when. All right, guys, bottom line is come join me at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Find my name at the top of the website. You can see a drop down under it. Join Verified Investing Alerts for swing trading in stocks. I do daily videos, live broadcasts once a week right there. It's a great service for education and everything else. And if you're just more into options, Verified Option Alerts is there for you as well. That's purely options trades right there. And I think we've closed out about 150 this year in total. It's been a fantastic swing trading options market as well. Have a great one, guys. Take care.